want to thank Jerry at
Absolutely.
Music City. He donates the guitars that we auction off every year for this, and that's also money that goes to Habitat for Humanity. Scott Shuffler was our high bidder this year. He got an amazing Les Gibson. How about a Gibson Les Paul? You know, the Les Gibson series, it's a new one there. That's what happens when you try and think 3 steps ahead, which are the Gibson Les Paul robot guitar in emerald green. Just an awesome guitar. And Jerry's got a great store over there on Patton Avenue. You know that.
Absolutely.
You probably bought a guitar from him before, I would guess.
Bought a guitar.
You may giving you one?
I couldn't afford a guitar back when I was living here. Jerry has been amazing at donating guitars for the past several years, and we've been able to accumulate a lot of money for Habitat. And thanks, brother. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to take what you just said and turn it into a story. Les Gibson, Les Paul, all that stuff.
Don't tell me you know a guy named Les
All right,
Gibson.
so back up to, Les Gibson. Yeah, he was my chiropractor. Back up to 90s, 98, 9, whenever it was, Government Mule and Steve Miller touring together. And Steve has had so many hits, but he would always, in the middle of his show, he would always do anywhere from 3 to 6 blues songs. He loves to play and sing the blues, and he grew up in Texas. And I think Les Paul was Steve's godfather. And he used to come home. His dad was a prominent doctor, and he would come home and there would be people like Les Paul jamming in his living room. He met people, Lightning Hopkins, all these people like that. Steve's story is a very fascinating one, but when we were touring together, every night he would invite me out to play blues with him. So we've played together many, many times. We hadn't seen each other in a few years, and recently I was in New York for the Les Paul tribute at the Iridium Club in New York, and Jeff Beck was hosting a tribute to Les Paul, which is actually on TV now. I think it's on public access or something. Amazing show. And there was it's like an invitation thing. They're filming it for a DVD, and they invited a lot of people to be there to watch it. And Steve and I wound up, they were sat us almost next to each other. We hadn't seen each other in a few years, And so that kind of rekindled the whole thought of, man, I need to get Steve to come to Christmas Jam. We reconnected there and talked and said, let's talk soon, let's hook up, let's do some playing, whatever, And then a couple of days later, I was like, man, it would be great to have Steve at Christmas Jam. And then he has a new record out, which is all blues. And so I thought it makes perfect sense. He's got a new record. And so I'm really excited that he's going to be here. He came a long way to be here, and I'm just glad that it worked out, But that was an interesting sort of story. That was the two of us sitting watching Jeff Beck pay tribute to Les Paul is kind of what planted that seed,
And a lot of people looking forward to that Steve Miller Band performance. That's going to be awesome. And Jeff Beck, there is one maybe to think about.
Well, we're trying. That's an even longer flight.
Yeah, that'd be a great name to have.
I've been trying for several years to do that because Beck's one of my all-time favorites. And Tall Wilkenfeld, that was playing bass with Jeff for a while, came a few years back, and she was talking to Jeff and pumping him up. It is a long way to fly from London to be here, but hey, John Paul Jones did it, so Jeff can do it.
I don't see why not. This transatlantic flight thing, they pretty much got it down.
Yeah, it's amazing how that's happened.
You don't got to take a big boat anymore in fear of hitting an iceberg.
Thank God.
It's not the same way anymore. You just hop on a plane.
I'm leaving in June to go to the Christmas Jam.
Well, we want to thank you for coming by. We know you got the pre-jam tonight, the Orange Peel. Tomorrow night, the Christmas Jam. As I mentioned to folks that want to catch some more music that don't already have tickets, the Christmas Jam by day events.
Absolutely.
Just go to xmasjam.com. We got information there for you. The Kevin Kinney acoustic show tomorrow at the Lab is going to be a fun one, and great beer there too. So hey, good beer and good music. It sounds like a good combination.
That's a win-win, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming by.
Always.
Love that, Robert Johnson. Let's give a big hand for Ward Haynes.